Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing a 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor, aka the Gen 3 Raptor, to a supercharged Gen 1 Raptor. It's a 2014 Stage 2 Roush Raptor. And with all that being said, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with this Roush Raptor. Check out their inventory in the description down below. Let's get right into the video. So let's start things off by going under the hoods of both of the trucks. Starting over here with the Gen 3 Raptor, we have a twin turbo 3.5 liter V6. It goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 450 horsepower and then 510 pound-feet of torque. Now popping over here to the Gen 1 Raptor, we have a supercharged 6.2 liter V8. Goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 590 horsepower and then 590 pound-feet of torque. I just drove this truck, and obviously I own this truck, so I know the acceleration, very familiar with it. Here's what I have to say. This feels a lot torquier off the line and just has that super strong punch off the line, whereas this doesn't necessarily punch as hard off the line, but once you're up and moving, this thing is like a rocket ship. This thing keeps pulling, but you know, from an acceleration perspective, they're not that far off. I thought this was going to be substantially faster because of the powertrain, but it's not as much quicker than the Gen 3 Raptor as I thought it would be. That being said, it still does feel a little bit quicker. Now let's go over the exterior elements of both of the trucks, starting with the front end on both of them. You guys can see here with the new generation Raptor, you've got the venting there in the center with the Raptor logo. We've got a decal here on the hood, and we've got the oversized marker lights, and then you've got the giant LED accent lights with the projector LEDs. It says Raptor there on the headlight. Oversized Ford grille with the front camera right here, and then you guys can see the off-road bumper. It's got the fog lights there on the side. We've got the skid plate down below. It has parking sensors integrated into it. We've got tow hooks as well, and everything's kind of covered up. You can't really see all that much with the suspension or shocks from a front end perspective. But again, that's with the Gen 3. Coming over here to the supercharged Gen 1, you guys can see again, you got the hood venting, F-150 SVT sticker, and the decal goes over most of the hood. Oversized Ford logo. We've got the marker lights just like with the Gen 3, and then you guys can see the headlights themselves. Actually says F-150 in it. You've got projector bulbs again. We got the tow hooks with the skid plate down below, and then since we don't have fog lights, you can actually see into the shocks a little bit from a front end perspective. And then you guys can also see the height difference. Now this is a 37 package Gen 3, but even like a 35 package Gen 3 sits just a little bit taller than the Gen 1, but it's actually not a massive difference. They're almost the same height. Now popping here to the side, we've got 17-inch wheels over here on the Gen 1. We have 17-inch wheels over here on the Gen 3, 37s, and then we have 35s, beadlock capable wheels. Also beadlock capable wheels. Now going here to the suspension, you guys can see everything there. We have the original Raptor Fox shocks with this Gen 1 Raptor, so not live valve or anything like that. And then you guys can see the oversized fender flare. And then popping over here to the new Raptor, again, oversized fender flare. We've got the new live valve here, and you guys can see just how much higher it sits and just how much more clearance you have there in the wheel well itself. And then you guys can see off-road side steps on both of them. We have our 6.2L badge. We have the venting here. We also have venting here on the Gen 3. And then you guys can see the difference with the mirrors. They're actually shaped pretty similarly, which is pretty funny. And then notice the door handles are body painted, whereas here they just have exposed plastic with that. And then again, you've got the fender here in the back with the fender flare. Same thing here with the Gen 3. Something to mention though is look at the Gen 3. It's not really wide there on the front. The fender flare is big, but the actual fender isn't. Whereas here on the Gen 1, you guys can see the fender itself pops out quite a bit. So that's a difference in stylistic cues. And then we've got the leaf springs here in the Gen 1, again with the Fox shocks. Whereas with the Gen 3, we've got the live valve. And then we have the new 5-link coil suspension here in the back end. We have the Raptor logo here, and then we also have a giant Raptor logo over there. So here are the key fobs with both the trucks. This is the newer Raptor, this is the older Raptor. You guys can see a lot of the functions are the same, except the new Raptor has the automatic tailgate drop down, whereas the old one doesn't have that. You've just got to use your own hand, which is oh so cumbersome. Man, why would I ever want to do that? I'm just joking, obviously. Anyways, you have the whole Ford bed step system. This one also kind of has this interesting like gate system in it as well. And then tons of snow here in the bed, which again is no extra cost. Payload capacity on this truck originally was like 1,000 pounds. I don't know how much the supercharger takes out of that, but just understand that. And then lifting up the tailgate, it's actually pretty light. Now popping over here to the new Raptor, you guys can see I haven't added a bed lamp or anything yet. I will add that in the future. But we've got LED bed lights. We have a full power outlet as well. And you guys can see we have the newer Ford bed step or tailgate step system. And since it's a new one, the tailgate goes up for us. So like, you got to muscle that one. This one does everything for you. Anyways, let's finish with stylistic cues on both the trucks. Starting over here with the Gen 1, you guys can see again with the lights and then the marker lights as well. And then you can see the parking sensors at the bottom of the bumper with the recovery hooks and the receiver hitch as well. And then popping over here to the Gen 3, notice we have the gigantic Ford decal there with the Raptor logo off to the side. And then notice the shape of the taillights is very similar actually with the truck. Got the dual exhaust tips here, and then the recovery hooks there on either side of the back, parking sensors. Now you guys are probably wondering, well, I can see the exhaust tips here, but I can't see it on the Gen 1. This is the cool part about the Gen 1. It has these side-mounted exhaust tips, which you can see down here. And if you want to hear an exhaust clip with the Gen 1 Raptor, go watch my review on this truck. I did a standalone review of the truck, and yeah, it's a really good sounding exhaust. Also, I want to mention, look how raked the truck is. And again, the supercharger does add weight to the front end, but you guys can see the back end is a little bit higher than the front end here on the Gen 1. And then if we pop over here to the Gen 3, you can see it's quite a bit more even back to front. Now this is a little bit of a slanted hill, but you still can see it's quite a bit more even. Got to open up a lot of doors. We'll just open up this one for now. Now let's quickly go over the interiors of both the trucks. You guys can see the differences with them. So first off with the Gen 1, you guys can see pretty basic material-wise. We do have the blue accenting. And then here at the seats, got really nice leather seats, Raptor logo. And then you can see the cloth trim here with the perforated leather. And then you've got the blue stitching. Rubber floor mats that go across. And you guys can see the outlet and everything. And I'll quickly pop in so I can see the difference in legroom and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then we're going to close that one up first. Now you guys can see over here with the Gen 3 just how much nicer it is with the materials and the design as well. And then the seats on top of that, you can see just how far Ford has come. These seats look so much better aesthetically and all that. And then we have heated seats here in the back. We got charging ports, we got vents, all that fun stuff. And popping in, ooh, yeah, definitely bigger. Yeah, so quite a bit more legroom. And I know you guys already saw me open this door panel, but I did it again because I messed up. Anyways, you guys can see that you've got the blue trim right here with all the window controls. The mirrors do power fold in. And then here are the seats. So you can see, again, with the blue stitching, Raptor logo, and then the cloth trim, and the perforated leather here in the center. Power adjustments on the side, pedal layout, and then you've got the brake right there with the light controls, boost gauge for the supercharger. And let's see if I can do this with my left hand. It's kind of awkward. Listen to that V8. So you guys can see here at the steering wheel, definitely quite a bit less modern than the new one. Well, you see that in a moment. Still have the marker line there at the top. The grips on the steering wheel feel great. You guys can see the analog controls, but yeah, the overall design on it. And then here for the center gauge cluster, now the center screen itself does look pretty dated, but aside from that, the gauges on either side, I like the look of them. I definitely like the SVT logo and everything there. I think that looks pretty cool if you ask me. Also, I want to see what kind of fuel economy this has been getting. That's actually pretty decent. I thought it would be a lot worse than that with the supercharger. And then you got the stability control here, and then popping it into reverse. Backup camera with trajectory lines. They don't turn with the steering wheel or anything like that. And then this truck has heated, cooled seats, so has that nice luxury feature to it. Response time on the screen is not all that good, so you guys can see it's nice, but it's not as good as what the new Raptor has. And then down from there, we've got the analog controls for the radio, climate controls, and then we have our drive line select over here with the locker for the rear, trailer brake controls, and then this is like our hill descent control here, and then there's an off-road mode, and then we have 4 auxiliary switches, shifter for the 6-speed automatic transmission, and there is a manual shift function, couple cup holders, and then you guys can see here with the center console set up, and then we just have the bottom glove box, got some storage space right there, and then we do have a a power sunroof is what I was trying to say. And then they're actually, you guys can see the sunglass holder and all that fun stuff, but the controls for it's just right there. And then we have the universal garage door openers, and there's a power sliding window there in the back as well. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see the material use with all this with the orange stitching. And then here are the seats at the front. So you've got the Bang & Olufsen sound system speaker there in the headrest. And then you guys can see the rest of the design. I think Ford's come a long way with the seat design. Controls there on the side, pedal layout, and then you've got the power adjustable pedals, light controls, all that fun stuff. And popping in, well, don't have to fumble with a key because, well, we just have push start. Now the steering wheel looks substantially nice from a design standpoint, but then also the grip feels a little bit nice. The steering wheel is a little bit beefier as well. Paddle shifters there on the back of the steering wheel, and then also all the controls here. And now you can customize a bunch of stuff. The steering feel, the suspension, the exhaust as well. And you got the cruise control over here with the volume controls, turn signal / windshield wiper stock, and then we've got the full digital gauge cluster. Some of you might hate this. I love it. I think it's cool. And then we have way more drive modes here with the new Raptor too. We got normal, deep snow, sand, Baja, and then we've got our rock crawl mode as well. And then the other side, we've got our sport, tow haul, and then we've got the slippery mode for the drive modes. So yeah, way more customization with that. Got a bunch of controls here for the center infotainment system up top, like camera, auto stop start, parking assistance, stability control, off-road cruise control. Yeah, lots of stuff. The camera system's way better. You guys can see resolution has improved dramatically, and this has a full 360 camera system. The Gen 1 you guys saw had a front camera. This has a little bit more from a camera perspective because you have front, rear, and then side cameras and all that fun stuff. And then the infotainment system is a lot easier to use. Response time with the screen is substantially better. It's able to actually like pick up my glove quite a bit better than what the Gen 1 has, and the buttons are bigger as well. Trailer brake controls, and we have our whole drive line select here with the locker on the rear and then the drive mode select. Analog controls for the radio. For the climate controls, has heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, wireless phone charger, got couplers with ambient lighting, got the shifter there. We have a center console that's substantially bigger, and you guys can see it's got the workbench function. And then we have a top glove box as well as a bottom glove box, whereas the old one just had the bottom glove box. And the overall design here in the interior just, again, looks a lot more modern, a lot nicer. We have 6 auxiliary switches now. And then we have a full panoramic sunroof here. And then we have a power sliding window there in the back. Now let's get into pricing with both of these trucks. So right now this truck has about 120,000 miles roughly with the Roush package. I'm not exactly sure on the exact market value. I'm guessing it's somewhere in like the $40,000 range roughly, just to play it safe. And then the Gen 3 Raptor with the 37 performance package, stickers for about $82,000, but they're selling for $15,000 to $20,000 over stickers, so around $100,000 roughly. So I mean, you literally could buy 2 of these for the price of that and some. So pretty crazy with the price difference. Now that's going to sum things up with our comparison between this Gen 3 Raptor and this Gen 1 Roush Raptor with the supercharger. Pretty crazy stuff. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below which truck you would pick. I'm sure you guys are going to want my opinion on this. So my personal opinion is, as cool as that Gen 1 Raptor is with the supercharger and everything, it's super unique, and I know that truck will hold its value amazingly well. Ford has just refined the new Raptor so well. The new suspension, the new shocks, and the fact that my truck really doesn't feel all that much slower than that truck with the supercharger is kind of like, that truck is super cool, but at the same time, the comfort that I get out of the new Gen 3, and then also the fact that the acceleration's there and the lighter weight feel you get the Gen 3, because again, that truck weighs like 500 pounds less than what that truck weighs with the supercharger. So like everything taken into account, it's like, yeah, it'd be cool to have a supercharged V8, but the new one's way more practical, way more capable, and I just enjoy it more. But that's my personal opinion. I want you guys to let me know which one you would pick.